Welcome to Middletown Valley's Vacation Bible School. We're here at Big Fish Bay. We are going to have so much fun. I'm so glad you joined us. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's first have a prayer and then we'll get to it. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We pray that you help us learn more about your love and forgiveness for us. In your name, amen.
Hello, friends! It's time to get up and sing!
Yay! There's a big ship bobbing in the bay. There's a big fish splashing on a wave. There's a big story that anchors his soul of a big God who cares and he's in control. We've got a big God with big, big plans. We're hooked on God's mercy. He'll show us his love and guide the way. Get hooked on God's mercy at Big Fish Bay. There's a big cross showing us the way. There's a big love that Jesus gives away. There's a big story of mercy and grace of a big God whose Son has taken our place. We've got a big God with big, big plans. We're hooked on God's mercy. He'll show us his love and guide the way. Get hooked on God's mercy at Big Fish Bay. The pier is reaching out. The lighthouse shines for all to see. God is reaching out for you and me. We've got a big God with big, big plans. We're hooked on God's mercy. He'll show us his love and guide the way. Get hooked on God's mercy at Big Fish Bay. We've got a big God with big, big plans. We're hooked on God's mercy. He'll show us his love and guide the way. Get hooked on God's mercy at Big Fish Bay. At Big Fish Bay. Yay!
Good evening. Come on in. Welcome to my bait shop. I am Captain Abraham Ham, but you can call me Cappy. Come on in. Look at what I have here to sell today. I've got some brand new paddles in. I've got some great fishing material for us to purchase. Got a little something for the kids, and of course you always have to be safe, right? But you didn't come in for the materials, did you? No, I heard that you were coming into my shop to hear a story today. I'm excited. I have a story for you. I've been telling a lot of people about Jonah. And you know what? He was a great fisherman, which is a bit of a funny joke when you think about it. If he were here, he'd be really frustrated at me. He didn't consider himself a fisherman at all, even though God turned him into one. Yeah, I want to talk about that today. I'll also tell you, as I'm telling the story, you'll start to see some things in the story that are a little bit backwards. I'm going to talk about that. Jonah's a fun story because things aren't working the way they're supposed to. And that's what makes the story fun. You see, Jonah is a prophet. He's a prophet of God, and he has a message to deliver. And God said, Jonah, I want you to go and tell the Ninevites that in 40 days I'm going to turn their city over. Jonah did not want anything to do with the Ninevites. So you know what he did? He ran away. A prophet running away from God? Isn't that kind of silly? I mean, think about it for a moment. if your parents tell you to go and clean up your room, are you going to go to your room or are you going to go outside? You might go outside, but your parents are going to catch you, right? Isn't the same thing going to happen with Jonah? God says, Jonah, I want you to go down to Nineveh, and I want you to tell them in 40 days, I'm going to turn over your city. Destruction. Jonah's like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to run. Now, Nineveh was to the north. Jonah went to the south. He ran. What's a prophet doing? Running from God. He knows God knows where he is at all times. But even crazier than that, Jonah, being a person who loved to be on the land, not like myself, I like to be on the sea. Jonah liked to be on the land, but you can guess when he got to the end of the land, when he's running south, he hopped onto a boat. And when he hopped onto a boat, it wasn't just any boat. You see, he got on a boat of people who were not Israelites. Well, there's nothing wrong with the boat that weren't Israelites, but he was an Israelite. As an Israelite, Jonah worshiped the God above, the God of Abraham. These men did not. Not a problem until. Remember, Jonah is running from God, and these people don't know about it yet, because things start to change pretty quickly. Jonah gets on the boat and he starts traveling in and getting settled down below and getting all comfy. It's kind of funny, you know, you're playing outside when you're supposed to be cleaning your room, and you're playing ball and you kind of forget what mom and dad told you. But you know they're going to come at some time, right? But you're playing, you're having a good time, you're playing ball, and you've forgotten everything about mom and dad, right? But they're coming. And the same thing was happening to Jonah. Jonah had gotten into the bottom of the boat and gotten comfortable and tightened in and fell asleep. The ship had left the dock and moved on. They had the sails up, they were sending out, and then it happened. God sent a big storm. No, I'm not talking about the little storm. I'm talking about the big storm where you got to get out all the safety gear. Everyone's getting on their life preservers, whatever they had. And they're batting down the hatches, tying everything down and pulling down the sails and doing everything to save the ship. But the ship is rocking. What are they going to do? Jonah is still asleep. He's quiet in the base, in the belly of the ship. Everyone else is panicking. What do we do? What do we do? The waters seem to be coming up, so they start throwing stuff overboard. Can you imagine? This is the sailors' money, the stuff that they have on the ship. They're shipping somewhere else so that they can make a little money so that they can feed themselves. But now they got to throw it overboard. You know that wasn't easy. They're throwing it overboard so the ship doesn't sink. They're trying to lighten it up to keep it going because the waves are getting high and the storm isn't getting any better. So then they do something that's very interesting. These non-Israelite people started going to their gods. And they'd say, oh, God of fire, God of fish, save us from the storm. But the storm kept coming and getting worse. And they started doing some of their rituals. They'd start doing dances or doing some other thing that they thought would get their God to listen to them, but nothing happened. So they thought, we've got to find out who's in trouble here. And they started going through the ship and they found Jonah sleeping. What's he sleeping for? Everyone else is panicking. They got him up. Well, wouldn't you? They got Jonah up and they started trying to figure out who this was. And to figure out who it was, they used a process of kind of chance. They took a bunch of short straw or something short, and one's extra short, and they went around and figured out who it was pulled out the short straw. Well, they may not have used the short straw, but something like that. And you know what? It turned out to be Jonah. Everybody on the ship turned to Jonah and said, "What did you do, Jonah?" What could Jonah do? He had to tell them. Jonah knew what was going on. God had told him to go to Nineveh. Nineveh was in the north. But Jonah had run. And he had run south and gotten on a ship that was going southeast. Jonah knew where the storm was coming from. Jonah knew why the waves had risen. So he told the men of the story. He said, "Gentlemen, God told me to go to Nineveh, but I don't want to go to Nineveh. They're mean in Nineveh. You know, they're mean to each other. They're mean to their children. They're mean to their families. They hurt them. If I go there, I might even get hurt. I do not want to go to Nineveh, but God said I got to go to Nineveh and tell the Ninevites that in 40 days he'll destroy the city." And people were like, "Well, your God has created the storm. Your God is the one who's got us all in trouble, and you're in trouble. What'll we do?" Now here's a funny thing. Seems a little backwards. Jonah said, "You know what you need to do is throw me overboard." Now that doesn't seem right now, does it? You're going to take a man in the middle of the storm and throw him overboard where he can drown. How is a God going to be happy about that? I tell you a secret. I think Jonah was still trying to get out of going to Nineveh too. He thought if something happens to him in the water, he doesn't have to go to Nineveh. So he thinks he's got this all handled. But the men on the ship, they're having a hard time with it. They're going back to their gods one more time to say, "Oh God, please take the storm away," but it's not working. And there's nothing left to throw over. So they finally all agree and they take old Jonah and they throw him over the ship. And it's incredible. Because the moment that they threw Jonah overboard, the storm started to settle. And as the ship is pulling away further and further and further from Jonah, the storm's getting better. There's no chance for Jonah to swim back to them now. No. And they know it. They know Jonah knows it. And it comes to their mind that maybe, just maybe, Jonah's God is the reason why this all happened. Now, I told you that when Jonah got on the boat, he did not get on a boat that believed in the God of Abraham. And now they've done something kind of crazy that they think the God of Abraham would not be happy about, but the storm's stopping. And something extra special happens to all the people on the ship because they see the storm stops, because it comes to a dead, silent stop, just enough to keep the winds in their sails and get them home. Every man on that ship turns their heart to God. They actually appreciate God. Now it says in the Bible that when the storm had settled, they created an altar and gave a sacrifice to God. Now that seems a little bit backwards to me. If you're on a wooden ship, and I know it was wooden ships back then, you're not going to create an altar and set a fire and put a fire on top of a ship. So I'm just guessing now, that they sailed all the way back thinking about what had happened. That a God could be so angry at one man that he would send a great storm that would put many in peril. But once that one man was separated, that God would care enough about the remaining people who don't know him so well and would protect them from the storm, would take care of them and make sure that they sailed nicely right back to shore and were safe once again. So much so that when they got back onto shore, I believe that all of them together went and found the Israelites, found out how to make a proper altar, how to properly do a sacrifice, and gave a sacrifice to God. Now think about this. This is still very backwards, because Jonah was sent to the north to talk with people about turning to God. And Jonah didn't want to. So Jonah goes south and into the southeast, and he finds a bunch of people who still were not following God and needed to turn their life around. And because of that experience, God still uses Jonah for these men to show them how much he loves them. And strangely enough, even while Jonah's in the water and he's still being defiant, these men turn their hearts back to God and follow him. Isn't that a crazy story? Not quite finished, but almost finished. If you think about it, while the men are going off, Jonah is still in the water. And now he's sinking. What is God going to do? Now, Jonah, I think, is starting to think, I'm going to get out of this now. I don't have to go to that mean place in Nineveh. I don't have to meet those mean people, the people that hurt their children, the people that hurt their families. I don't have to go because now my end is coming. But he's not repentant. He doesn't feel bad that God said, I want you to go this way, and he went another way. He's just in trouble. What do you think's going to happen with Jonah next? Well, I tell you what, I'm not going to tell you. If you want to find out what happens to Jonah next, come back tomorrow. And you really should. I'll tell you why, because it's still backwards. It's a backward story about what God does to Jonah. It's not what he expected. I bet it's not what you expected. And I can tell you there's a lot of people in the world who tell you it's not even possible, even though I happen to know some information that makes it very credible, very possible. But I'm not going to tell you what it is until tomorrow. So you're going to have to come back to the shop. Make sure when you come back to the shop that you bring your spending money, because after I tell the story, you might see a little something you like. I've got some live bait you might want to go fishing to afterwards. But before I let you go, there's one other thing you need to know. There's a memory verse that's been offered to me that if you learn this memory verse and later this evening get online and tell us your memory verse, you tell us your memory verse and you show us that you know it frontwards and backwards. Well, just frontwards. Frontwards is good enough. We're going to give you a prize. Now, that means you got to learn it on your own. So here it is. Here is the verse we're talking about. It's in Luke 6:33. And it says, "Be merciful, just as your Father also is merciful." Luke 6:36. Why don't we say it together once, all right? Be merciful, just as your Father also is merciful. Luke 6:36. Now, when you're done with the video today, you can come back to this video again if you need to, or you can go to the Bible and look this verse up yourself and get it memorized. Join online and say it yourself. Be merciful, just as your Father is also merciful. Luke 6:36. And remember, come back tomorrow and find out what happened to this Jonah person that's a little bit backwards. All right? Have a good night. Have a good night. And remember, I am Captain Abraham Hab, and you can call me Cappy. See you tomorrow.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to our Big Fish Bay Vacation Bible School craft time. We're going to be very busy this week, having some fun and using our artistic talents. Every day we're going to carefully open our bags, because if we're not careful, we might send some things flying in different directions, and we don't want to lose any of our supplies that we have. So be very careful, and don't open the bag until you reach the day that you're going to actually do the project and the time when we sit down to do this. I'm going to open this bag and show you what's in it. This day we are doing our whale cup game, and this is a very fun game, and some of you might have used this at some time in a different form, but what it is a whale catcher. But see, I'm taking it out carefully because inside the cup are all the supplies that you need for this project. But there's two things you need to run and get before you take the things out of the cup. So set the cup down, and you need a spoon, and you need a marker. This is a permanent marker, and if mom and dad let you use permanent markers, that's the best one to use, because we're going to be drawing on a balloon, and the permanent marker will stay on the balloon. But if you use another kind of marker, it might rub off as you're trying to use it. So I will recommend a permanent marker. The first thing that you're going to want to do is take out the little blue rectangle right here. This rectangle we're going to use to draw a whale tail. Now, I tried several different things to get my whale tail to show up on this. This is a foam sheet, and it's a little bit difficult to draw on. So what I did was I went and got a pen, because that worked the very best. It's better than a marker, because the marker, you kind of get off of line with the whale tail, and this is the whale tail. Now, I have one cut out so that you can see what it looks like. This is the finished whale tail. On your whale tail are two little black spots. You want to cut those black spots out, but don't cut all the way through. Just where it's black, cut that out, because this part is going to go through your cup. When you put your whale tail on your foam to trace it, put it on this way. Put it on in this direction. That way, if you make a mistake, you have a whole nother side that you can use if you need to draw another whale tail. So you go ahead, and it's a little bit difficult because this is a thin little piece of paper, but you can do it. I know you can. You just put your whale tail on your foam and hold it down, hold the top part down with your fingers, and just start drawing. And don't let your fingers move until you reach the other side. Then turn your fingers and put them on the whale tail this way. Then you can draw down along the side. Now don't forget to stop where these two little notches are and draw them in too, because you have to cut these little notches out in order for this whale tail to fit through the bottom of the cup. And in a minute, I'll show you the cup so that you can see what I'm talking about. It's a special cup. You can't drink out of it. And there you go. It wasn't too difficult, was it? So now I'm going to set this aside. You're going to be cutting that out like I did with mine here. I'm going to carefully take everything out, and you want to be careful because there's some wiggly eyes in the bottom of this cup, and if you lose your wiggly eyes, your whale's not going to be able to see, to be able to catch the character that you're going to make to go into the whale cup game. All right. 2 little wiggly eyes is what you should find at the bottom of the cup. So, the first thing you're going to do is cut your whale tail out and get it out of the way. Then you can just put this aside. You're done. You have your whale tail. The next thing you're going to do is look at your cup. In the bottom of your cup is a hole. We are going to first put a string through that hole. Now I know this string is a little bit thin, but it's perfect for what we're going to use it for if I don't make a knot out of it. We are going to poke it through, but you know, you might have a problem because of how small the hole is at the bottom of the cup. So what I want you to do is take a pin. If you feel like you're having a problem, you can take a pin, put your string across the hole, and you can take a pin, make sure the pin is closed, and poke the string through the hole that way. And then you reach inside and you grab the string and pull it up through. And you guys will probably have an easier time doing this than I am because my hand's kind of big fitting in the bottom of this cup. Trying to pinch it. There, I got it. All right, so you pull your string up, and you might need mom or dad to help you, some of you younger children, because you're going to take it and you're going to bring the 2 ends together, and you're going to tie a knot. Just like you're tying your shoe, except instead of tying it in a bow, you're going to just tie a knot. So here we go. That's it, just like that. All right, now it's time for the whale tail. And this, for me, was a little bit more difficult because you have to take this whale tail and you have to take this bottom part and fold it together onto each other like this. I don't know how well you can see that. But you're just going to fold the 2 edges together, and then you're going to take it and poke it through the hole. And again, if you have a problem, you can use the pin because this pin is just the right size for pushing things through that hole. And then when it gets all the way through, those little prongs are going to open back up and it's going to hold the tail in place. See, I'm pulling on it and it's not going to come out, but it flops around just like a whale. All right, now we have that done. Now we're going to take the balloon. You're not going to blow this balloon up. This isn't going to be a balloon game. We are going to take what's in this bag. This is called quinoa. And we're going to take the quinoa and we're going to put it inside the balloon. And that's going to make the balloon a little bit heavy so that we can use it. Hopefully, we'll be able to attach the balloon to the string and then fling it and catch it inside the cup. You have a little funnel. So you're going to take the funnel and put it in the balloon. Just like that. Just slip it in. I'm going to lay this down because I want to show you something about this baggie. You know where the baggie folds, where the sharp edges are on the side of the baggie? If you open the baggie and put your hands on the side, put your thumbs on the inside and your fingers on the outside, and then just twist it down like this, the baggie will open up for you and it'll stay open and kind of be like a bowl, and then you don't even have to hold on to the bag as you're trying to spoon this quinoa into the balloon, because no way can you hold that balloon or hold this baggie hold the balloon and the funnel and the spoon all at the same time. All right, so here we go. We're going to take the quinoa and we're going to fill the balloon. Let me show you something on this balloon. When you fill it with the quinoa, you don't want to fill it any further than the tip, about maybe a fingernail's length from the top of the balloon, because you have to be able to grab a hold of that and then tie this balloon. So be careful when you're filling it. Otherwise, you know what will happen? You'll go and you'll pull it and go to tie it, and quinoa is just going to fly all over the place. And you don't want that, because that will make a horrible mess. It's almost as bad as spilling a cup of flour on the floor. So here we go. Take in the quinoa and the spoon. I'm going to hold it over the baggie just in case some of the quinoa wants to fall off of the spoon. And you might have to tap it a little bit. Tap the funnel so it goes down in. See, I'm spilling some, and good thing I have it over the bag. It's probably going to take at least half of the quinoa into the balloon before it reaches the point where you can pull the funnel out and then tie the balloon. And if you have problems tying the balloon, make sure to ask Mom or Dad to help you tie this. Oh, mine's up to the top. See, now I have too much quinoa, so I'm going to take the full funnel out inside the bag so the quinoa doesn't go all over. All right. Here you go. See, you can feel it. When you run your finger along it, you can feel the quinoa in there. So you put your fingers right at the top of the quinoa and pull the balloon up. This is the part that you're going to tie. So I'm going to tie mine. I don't know how you guys tie your balloons, but go ahead and try and tie it if you can. And if you can't, make sure you ask Mom or Dad to help you, because you do not want this quinoa going all over the place. And there you go. See, it holds its form because of the quinoa. Now is where the permanent marker comes in. Now you get to draw a stick figure or just a funny face, whatever you want to draw on your balloon. That's what I want you to do now. So take your marker and I'm just going to make a smiley face and draw whatever you'd like on your balloon. All right, we're almost done. That's my character. I could have done a stick figure, but I thought a smiley face would be better. All right, so now I'm going to take this end of the string and I'm going to tie this end of the string right under the knot on the balloon, on this part where my fingers are. Right under there, I'm going to tie a knot so that the balloon stays attached to the string. I would do it a couple of times because you never know, sometimes flinging something around, the knot can come loose and it'll come undone and your little character will go flying off somewhere. All right, there. Now we need to put the wiggly eyes on and we're done. And then you can take your game and you can try and get your character inside the cup. You can challenge your friends, you can challenge your siblings to see how many times each one of you can get, I'm going to call him Jonah, how many times you can get Jonah in the cup. But let me get my stickers out. Your glue stick, you need your, or glue dots. You need your glue dots for this. Just one glue dot for each eye, and then you're done and you can play and have fun. I had something, it was store-bought, but I had something like this when I was a kid. and it was a lot of fun, but it was very challenging. Now just put your eyes on wherever you think a whale eyes would be. I'm going to put mine on the side. Somebody might like to put them on the top, together on the top. Who knows? It's up to you. It's your whale. You make it the way you want. And there we have it. Our whale, our Jonah catcher in the whale. There you go. And that ends today's project.
Well, I hope you had fun at VBS today. I know I did. I love learning about Jonah. Remember to learn your memory verses, and now we're going to sing our songs, and then Nathan has a word for you. Anyway, let's go.
There's a big ship bobbing in the bay. There's a big fish splashing on a wave. There's a big story that anchors the soul of a big God who cares, and He's in control. We've got a big God with big, big plans. We're hooked on God's mercy. He'll show us His love and guide the way. Get hooked on God's mercy at Big Fish Bay. There's a big cross showing us the way. There's a big love that Jesus gives away. There's a big story of mercy and grace, of a big God whose Son has taken our place. We've got a big God with big, big plans. We're hooked on God's mercy. He'll show us His love and guide the way. Get hooked on God's mercy at Big Fish Bay. The pier is reaching out. The lighthouse shines for all to see. God is reaching out for you and me. We've got a big God with big, big plans. We're hooked on God's mercy. He'll show us His love and guide the way. Get hooked on God's mercy at Big Fish Bay. We've got a big God with big, big plans. We're hooked on God's mercy. He'll show us His love and guide the way. Get hooked on God's mercy at Big Fish Bay. At Big Fish Bay.
Hey kids, I hope you had a great time at Vacation Bible School today. I know I did. We heard a great Bible story, learned about Jonah and about God and his plan for Jonah and how He wanted him to learn to have compassion and mercy. I think it was a great first day, and I'm really looking forward to...
Stupid rules trying to tell me what to do. I know how to fish. Don't tell me how to fish. I am a fisherman. I know exactly what I'm doing. I just don't want... Hey. Hooper, right?
Well, it's Nathan, but that's fine. What are you doing? What's going on here?
Oh, well, I came over because I remember seeing you down there. You told me about that VBS, so I thought I'd come over here and check it out really quick.
Absolutely. Kids, this is my friend Ketch. Ketch, these are the kids from VBS. Why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Will Ketchit. I am a fisherman, so you can call me Ketch.
Now, seriously, what's going on with the life vests?
I was in a fishing competition, and this competition, they had these rules that said that I had to wear a life vest no matter where I was fishing. They didn't care if I was in a boat, on the pier, if I was on the land. It don't matter what I was doing. If I was floating in the air, I had to be wearing a life vest.
It sounds like they were just trying to keep everybody safe.
But I don't wear a life vest when I fish. It just messes with my perfect cast.
Yeah, I can see how that might be a problem.
Well, so I decided I'm going to enter the competition, and then I found the perfect spot, and I started my perfect cast without my life vest. Well, next thing you know, the game warden comes along and he disqualifies me because I'm not wearing a life vest and I'm not following the rules.
Well, Catch, sometimes not following the instructions can get us in a lot of trouble, can't it?
I guess.
That reminds me of the Bible story that we learned today. We learned about Jonah, and God had given him some instructions, but he didn't want to obey them, so he tried to run and hide. But he ended up being cast into the sea without a life vest.
Now, okay, now that is dangerous.
It sure is. You know, it's so important to listen to God's instructions for us. He knows what's best for all of us.
All right. Well, maybe I better do that. I'll try to listen to God's instructions and get myself to another competition, and I'll listen to their instructions too. Well, I'm going to go. I think there's another fishing competition over there in Amity Bay, but not positive. I heard they closed the beaches for some reason. I don't know. I got to go check it out.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you, and I'll catch you later.
Catch you later. Everybody say catch you later to We'll Catch It. And thanks a lot. Thank you for being here for Vacation Bible School. I hope you had a great time. Remember, study your memory verse, and let's just close with a brief prayer. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for watching over us. Thank you for a great day at Vacation Bible School, for the lessons that we learned, for the stories that we told, for the camaraderie that we shared. We just pray that you continue to watch over us each and every day and keep us safe and healthy. And we thank you for everything that you do for us. Amen. Thanks again, kids. We'll see you next time.